Quite frankly, many parts of our world are being destroyed before our very eyes, and the leaders don't even understand what's happening. Virtually all of the so-called experts predicted my plans to end this failed model would trigger a global recession and runaway inflation. But we have proven them wrong. It's actually just the opposite. In 1 year, our agenda has produced a transformation like America has not seen in over 100 years.
You know what this also highlights? If Europe, if Canada, if they're our greatest allies, that should be an applause. President Trump, his speech at Davos. And by the way, can we just also acknowledge it's pretty cool that the one voice of significance, the one voice that matters on the global stage is our leader. It's not even close.
No.
It's not even close. So his tone, like I said, very different. And we have not seen this for many decades. And I would even say this includes Reagan, certainly includes George W. Bush and George Bush Sr., that the United States of America is for Americans. We are going to put our people first, as every other nation has, with the exception of us. And it's time for the rest of the world to get on board. Here is President Trump opening salvo.
Well, thank you very much, Larry. It's great to be back in beautiful Davos, Switzerland, and to address so many respected business leaders, so many friends, few enemies, and all of the distinguished guests. It's a who's who, I will say that. I've come to this year's World Economic Forum with truly phenomenal news from America. Yesterday marked the 1-year anniversary of my inauguration, and today, after 12 months back in the White House, our economy is booming, growth is exploding, productivity is surging, investment is soaring, incomes are rising, inflation has been defeated, our previously open and dangerous border is closed and virtually impenetrable, and the United States is in the midst of the fastest and most dramatic economic turnaround in our country's history.
And if you want to argue the degree to which he's correct, sure, that's a conversation to have. But the facts aren't. And isn't that something? We took this for granted. We just said, well, yeah, of course, America's number one. That goes without saying. But the fact that we could improve the quality of lives for Americans by that much, what it tells you is that no one else has really even tried.
Yeah.
That's what we're learning right now. And that even brings us, by the way, I am convinced, you guys let me know, Greenland, I'm convinced that the reason these other nations, and I'm not talking about those in Greenland themselves who welcome their conquerors with open arms because the Danes haven't been all that great to them. The only reason that other nations wouldn't want the United States to be in charge of Greenland and their security is because that would make President Trump the most consequential president probably of the last 200 years. I think that's probably the reason they don't want it. And that's why they say Donald Trump just wants the United States to be bigger than Canada, whatever it is. They're actually projecting. President Trump made no qualms and was very clear in stating the case as to why the United States needs Greenland.
Would you like me to say a few words of Greenland? I was going to leave it out of the speech, but I think I would have been reviewed very negatively. I have tremendous respect for both the people of Greenland and the people of Denmark, tremendous respect. But every NATO ally has an obligation to be able to defend their own territory. And the fact is, no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States.
Objectively true.
We're a great power, much greater than people even understand. I think they found that out 2 weeks ago in Venezuela. We saw this in World War II, when Denmark fell to Germany after just 6 hours of fighting and was totally unable to defend either itself or Greenland. So the United States was then compelled, we did it, we felt an obligation to do it, to send our own forces to hold the Greenland territory, and hold it we did at great cost and expense. They didn't have a chance of getting on it, and they tried. Denmark knows that. We literally set up bases on Greenland for Denmark. We fought for Denmark. We weren't fighting for anyone else. We were fighting to save it for Denmark. Big, beautiful piece of ice. It's hard to call it land. It's a big piece of ice.
Pretty much.
But we saved Greenland and successfully prevented our enemies from gaining a foothold in our hemisphere. So we did it for ourselves also. And then after the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps. After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it. But we gave it back. But how ungrateful are they now? So now our country and the world face much greater risks than it did ever before because of missiles, because of nuclear, because of weapons of warfare that I can't even talk about. 2 weeks ago, they saw weapons that nobody ever heard of. They weren't able to fire one shot at us. They said, what happened? Everything was discombobulated. They said, we've got them in our sights. Press the trigger, and nothing happened. No anti-aircraft missiles went up. There was one that went up about 30 feet and crashed down right next to the people that sent it. They said, what the hell is going on?
I can't even talk about, but I'm going to.
Those defensive systems were made by Russia and by China.
Oops.
So they're going to go back to the drawing boards, I guess. Greenland is a vast, almost entirely uninhabited and undeveloped territory. It's sitting undefended in a key strategic location between the United States, Russia, and China. That's exactly where it is, right smack in the middle. Wasn't important nearly when we gave it back. You know, when we gave it back, it wasn't the same as it is now. It's not important for any other reason, you know, everyone talks about the minerals. There's so many places. There's no rare earth, no such thing as rare earth. There's rare processing, but there's so much rare earth. And this, to get to this rare earth, you got to go through hundreds of feet of ice. That's not the reason we need it. We need it for strategic national security and international security. This enormous unsecured island is actually part of North America, on the northern frontier of the Western Hemisphere. That's our territory. It is therefore a core national security interest of the United States of America. And in fact, it's been our policy for hundreds of years to prevent outside threats from entering our hemisphere, and we've done it very successfully. We've never been stronger than we are now. That's why American presidents have sought to purchase Greenland for nearly 2 centuries. You know, for 2 centuries they've been trying to do it. They should have kept it after World War II, but
and there you go. Look, he goes on for a while here making the case. Let me just tell you something. This is true, and it is important to note. So 1941, Denmark did. They agreed. They needed the United States to defend Greenland. World War II. They didn't have a chance. After that, and this is why it matters, because people say, oh, imperialism. We gave Greenland back, right, to Denmark after the war.
Yeah.
Denmark pledged $224 million, for example, in 2019, I believe, to defend Greenland. They've spent $2.2 million, 1%.
Jeez.
So when we say, all right, look, you called us in to defend you. We did it. Okay, all right, we're giving this back to you. Hey guys, though, but this does kind of matter. Like, this does kind of matter to us now. We're not asking you to come in and fight a war for us. We're not asking you to actually protect our country, protect our territory, but we are asking you to put in your fair share to make sure that it's secured if we can't do it. Yes, okay, we agree. All right, we understand. That's common sense. Less than 1%. Where else does that happen without consequences? And now it's imperialist to say you have to honor your agreement? How about this? This is what we should start doing. Writing up, okay, $224 million plus interest. That's your portion of the debt. You now own that debt from the United States. We had to spend the money because you didn't. And so their posture right now is, no, keep spending the money, we'll keep it safe, and we'll continue to fleece you and not do it while we give everyone maternity, paternity leave, and socialized health care. But yeah, that's better for us. We keep it. We don't spend the money, and you protect it. No. How about that? And he was talking about Venezuela. Yeah, that's a valid point. Russia supplied surface-to-air missiles. China provided radars, by the way, which the U.S. very quickly defeated.
Yeah.
in Venezuela? Where are people coming to our defense? Hey, where are these international governing bodies who all agreed that that Maduro and Chavez, but certainly Maduro, was an international criminal? There was a bounty on his head. A court ruled $11 billion was awarded to American companies. No one did anything. Anyone going to come help us? We're imperialist if we recoup on the debt? No, now it's your debt. And by the way, it makes sense when you understand the Russia-China supplied weapons and their defeat when you see some of the training videos from Venezuela.
Muerte! Stand by!
Is that real? Oh my God!
I wonder.
It was like an IU. It's like an IUD popping out.
Exactly. Well, they probably got them from Denmark.
Josh, what are you doing?
Securing my financial future, Gerald. What does it look like?
It looks like you're digging a hole, Josh.
Yeah?
That's what it looks like.
And?
Well, okay, why are you digging a hole?
For gold, Gerald. It's the best investment you can make. Something wonky happens to the economy, Armageddon, bombs start going off, everybody fails, banks fail. I got the good stuff. I'm set.
Gold?
Shh! Yes!
Josh, why don't you just try True Gold Republic? Why don't you give those guys a call or go to lwcgold.com, see if you qualify for one of those no-fee-for-life gold IRAs, and make it simple. It's easy.
It's really that easy?
Yes, you don't have to dig for gold. Put that down. No, put it down. That down.
I kind of like it.
Put that down. Let's go.
Let True Gold Republic help you safeguard your retirement with physical gold and silver. Go to lwcgold.com or call 800-628-4653. Sign up or call today and see if you qualify for a no-fees-for-life IRA.
Come on. People just got comfortable with us paying the bill.
Yep.
They got so comfortable. It's kind of like, a kid whose father just kind of buys them the car and sends them to college,
Yeah.
gets them everything they want.
Yeah.
They've got a credit card, and then all of a sudden says, hey, you got to live on your own. You're mean. No, this is how reality is. I've been nice this whole time. Now I'm telling you to do your thing.
Yeah.
He could just show up and go, can you name a more benevolent superpower in the history of this planet?
Go.
Right. Yeah.
Can you? I'll wait here when you... Okay, I'm out of here.
Right.
And if you want to keep it that way,
That's exactly right.
pay up.
Yeah, here's the thing. The reason that he said, and I'll show you the clip where he clarified, he's not going to be using force on Greenland, right? That's the art of the deal.
I know, I was bummed.
But if he wasn't bombastic, if he wasn't a lightning rod, the narrative would still be, oh, it's the rest of the world and this evil superpower of the United States. At least now people have to, because they hate him, they have to hate watch the facts. Oh, they folded in a few hours and we protected them. And, oh, they paid less than 1%. And oh, yeah, no one's met their agreements. And okay, I guess it's kind of true. And I don't like them. But at least you've had to watch. And you wouldn't if he didn't have his lightning rod moment. That's part of negotiating. And now he's made it really clear that he's not going to be using force to take a few Eskimos in Greenland.
We never asked for anything, and we never got anything. We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But
And justified.
I won't do that. Okay? Now everyone's saying, oh, good. That's probably the biggest statement I made, because people thought I would use force. I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force. All the United States is asking for is a place called Greenland.
That's it. Unbelievable.
And we'll buy it. That's the thing.
He does talk to them like
Yeah,
they're children.
that's right.
He does.
Yeah. I dream of a place the land is green.
But it's ice. It is a lie.
And you can't defend it, all you pussies. Here he is being brutally honest on how Europe is and has been in the process of destroying itself. Again, contrast.
Certain places in Europe are not even recognizable, frankly, anymore. They're not recognizable. And we can argue about it, but there's no argument. Friends come back from different places. I don't want to insult anybody and say I don't recognize it. And that's not in a positive way. That's in a very negative way. And I love Europe, and I want to see Europe go good. But it's not heading in the right direction. In recent decades, it became conventional wisdom in Washington and European capitals that the only way to grow a modern Western economy was through ever-increasing government spending, unchecked mass migration, and endless foreign imports. The consensus was that so-called dirty jobs and heavy industry should be sent elsewhere, that affordable energy should be replaced by the Green New Scam, and that countries could be propped up by importing new and entirely different populations from faraway lands. This was the path that sleepy Joe Biden administration and many other Western governments very foolishly followed, turning their backs on everything that makes nations rich and powerful and strong. And there's so much potential in so many nations. The result was record budget and trade deficits and a growing sovereign deficit driven by the largest wave of mass migration in human history. We've never seen anything like it. Quite frankly, many parts of our world are being destroyed before our very eyes, and the leaders don't even understand what's happening. And the ones that do understand aren't doing anything about it. Virtually all of the so-called experts predicted my plans to end this failed model would trigger a global recession and runaway inflation. But we have proven them wrong. It's actually just the opposite. In 1 year, our agenda has produced a transformation like America has not seen in over 100 years.
And you know what? You know what this also highlights? If Europe, if Canada, if they're our greatest allies, that should be an applause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be great. You're more successful than ever. Hey, that's our buddy up there. And it says, well, you guys don't have maternity, paternity leave. It's enough. It's enough. You have rendered yourself insignificant. Here's something else that I notice. You see these people, I believe it was Fink himself and quite a few people, they were pushing, obviously, the Green New Deal. They were pushing climate alarmism. Donald Trump flat out said, it's a control, we're not going to take part. It's a control thing. Donald Trump said this in his first administration. He was saying it before he was president regarding what was commonly referred to as renewable energy. He's been consistent. Back then they were saying solar, wind. Donald Trump said we still have to be energy independent. We still have to use fossil fuels, clean coal, everything at our disposal. What they are saying now is what Donald Trump was saying then. They're saying, yeah, but we can't rely on these forms of energy, right? Because of these big data centers and AI and because no one wants to be left behind. And these guys have a vested interest. So now that it affects their bottom line, they didn't care when it was expensive for you to fill up your car and maybe you couldn't afford, or an electric vehicle didn't matter for you. You were going to do it anyway. And by the way, that affected everything, not just Europe. It affected the emission standards, the environmental standards in American cars, right? It was a rush for all of these vehicles, in spite of market forces, to force you into their parameters. Now they're saying exactly what Donald Trump was saying in 2016. Same thing, just a different motivation. One, which has been consistent, President Trump is on behalf of the American people. That's not good for the American people. The other, flopping from clean energy, renewables, solar, wind, to actually now we definitely need to ensure energy consistency, independence. That's motivated for selfish reasons. They're saying what Trump said then. And they told you he was a fascist then. Now they're saying the same thing. Why? The motivation matters along with the real world results. And this is something that has been obviously near and dear to me. I grew up in Canada. And the arrogance that these nations have, and they look down their noses at us. And well, you don't have this. Sure. No, we don't have all the same, the giant nanny state, the giant welfare state. That's true. Neither would you. It would give you a very clear example, Greenland, and by proxy, Denmark, anywhere else in World War II where we were required to go in and pinch hit. You know what happens? Anywhere else throughout human history, if Denmark goes, we can't fight off we need your help. We go, oh yeah, sure, yeah, I guess we'd have some use for Denmark. Thanks. It's ours now. We gave it back and asked them to honor their agreement. Now expand that to all of NATO. All right, yeah, I guess you guys are more threatened than we are. We have an ocean, and obviously we have the most powerful military in the world. But sure, we agree. Everyone agree to spend 2%? You never meet it. We go above and beyond, and then you go, you Americans, you can't, you're spending, you're like drunken sailors, look at all your debt. Yeah, what are you spending your money on? We know you're spending money. It's just not on what you are contractually obligated to do. It's the most clear example of elitism. Nowhere in your, let me ask you this. You have a mortgage. You have an auto loan. You have credit card debt. Can you name me any scenario in which you sign on the dotted line? You are required to pay X amount. Otherwise, it's a foreclosure. Otherwise, it goes to creditors. And instead, you only pay 1% of it. Now, can you imagine that scenario and you tell the bank, I can't believe you guys have a lot of debt going in. How fast until you're in a white-collar prison? The only place where people can get away with not honoring their agreements, not paying their fair share, is places like this. It applies nowhere else, just to the Macrons of the world, just to the Carneys of the world. And they sit and they have a meeting. They have a meeting. Oh, we'll get to our NATO spending by the year 2034. How about you get in your DeLorean and meet it in the 80s? Until then, your country's on layaway. It's ours. Until then, Greenland's on layaway. Until then, Europe, you're on layaway. We could do that.
Yeah.
Or here's your portion of our debt. The math checks out, but you can check with your advisors. We expect the first payment Monday. Anywhere else? Can anyone point me to any other example? Anywhere else on earth where you get away with paying 1% or less than half for decades? Comment. I won't hear of American imperialism. No empire tolerates that because they don't even make that agreement. They take your stuff. Why? Because they can. You're welcome. By the way, we're going to continue with this and more if you join Rumble Premium right there. Click that button. Mug Club is Rumble Premium. Rumble Premium is Mug Club. $99 a year. This wonderful hand-etched mug. You get 100% more show. You get everything ad-free, as well as all of the other programs. It's your best one-stop shop. And all of this stops. We've been doing this the longest. I think we still do this the best. We're the only place that provides you with the references, and we're pretty proud of the work that we do here. It all goes away if you don't show your support. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching this on YouTube? You've probably noticed something is missing by now. I'm not here. That's because the live daily show is now streaming exclusively on Rumble weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Tune in there, where nothing is censored.